Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard a lot of quotes from the past, and I wish to give one. During the height of the Watergate scandal, John Dean said, Mr. President, there is a cancer growing on the presidency. I submit that there is a cancer growing on the political process here. I had hoped from the very beginning that this legislature would not come to the point where we will discuss legalizing homosexuality. I've been here into my 17th year, and I've been sued, I've been attacked while campaigning, trash thrown at me. I've been cussed out. Now, there's a difference between cussed out and cursed out. I've been cussed out. My life has been threatened over this. Someone called me and told me that I had better watch my back using the N-word because I did not support same-sex marriage. And even here, there are certain ones who barely speak to me because of my belief. We are divided here, and if I may wax Lincoln-ness with charity toward all and malice toward none, I am unalterably opposed to same-sex marriage. Yet, in the end, we must and we will remain collegial. We have here a classic battle between conscience and morality and legality and advocacy. In the end, neither side is perfect. Therefore, no gloating or glory will be and should be apropos. A great man, Winston Churchill, said, and I think it is applicable here, in war, he said, during World War II, in war, resolution. In defeat, defiance. In victory, magnanimity. And in the end, peace and goodwill. And I trust that that will be the end product of this process. For those who wish to juxtapose same-sex marriage with civil rights as I know it, let me give some history here. The Declaration of Independence says, when, in the cause of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bonds which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, as it was in the South and much of the nation, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. This is what the civil rights movement as I know it was about. It had nothing to do with same-sex marriage, and those who desire to ride in on our coattails are historically incorrect. The civil rights movement was about putting teeth into the Declaration of Independence. I shall proceed. After the Civil War, the Bill of Rights included the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution of the United States. The 13th Amendment freed the slaves. The 14th Amendment granted citizenship rights, and the 15th Amendment gave the right to vote. That's what the civil rights movement was about. That was what we did not have, these rights, and it had nothing to do with same-sex marriage. The 13th Amendment freed the slaves, but after slavery, segregation in many instances were worse, because those who worked for the former slave masters were in much the same predicament they were as before. So then, the movement was to put teeth into the 13th Amendment. The movement was an attempt to put teeth into the 14th Amendment, which guaranteed citizenship rights. Fishburne did a one-man's act on Thurgood Marshall, and incidentally, I thank all of you who voted to change the name to add the name to BWI, Thurgood Marshall. And his fight, Thurgood Marshall's fight, was an attempt to put teeth into the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States that former slaves did not enjoy. Right here in Maryland, he was denied the opportunity to enroll at the University of Maryland's law school. And so in that one act play, he in many ways shows that the 14th Amendment was an attempt, as we used it, to bring citizenship rights to African Americans, which we did not enjoy until 1954, beginning Brown v. Board of Education. The 15th Amendment to the Constitution had nothing to do with same-sex marriage. The 15th Amendment sought, if you please, the right to vote. Where I live in Mississippi, in Canton, Mississippi, there were 5,000 whites in the town, 20,000 blacks in the town. There were 6,000 whites on the road, more whites on the road than there were in the town. 20,000 blacks in the town and none on the road. Whites could vote from the grave. Blacks would be thrown into the grave for trying to vote. It had nothing to do with same-sex marriage. Let me proceed. If same-sex marriage is to be equated with the movement that I know, then, if you will, show me your Birmingham, Alabama, where high-pressure water hoses were turned on us so powerful that it knocked the bark off trees just because we wanted our rights. If you want to compare same-sex marriage with civil rights as I know it, show me those who had their homes invaded by the Ku Klux Klan at night and burned down their homes and businesses and churches and lit fiery crosses on your lawns because of same-sex marriage. Show me the billy clubs, the paddy wagons, the howling mobs of Little Rock, Arkansas, where the Little Rock Nine endured racism unprecedented. Show me your James Meredith, my classmate, who risked his life for an education at the University of Mississippi. Show me, if you will, same-sex proponents, the long 30-06 rifles that snuffed out the life of Medgar Evers, Martin King, John Kennedy. If they are to be compared with same-sex marriage, this issue, show me the mangled bodies of 4 little girls who were bombed to smithereens on a Sunday morning in Birmingham, Alabama, while attending Sunday school. Show me, if you will, the dynamite, the hangman's noose, the albatross thrown around the neck of Emmett Till and thrown into the Tallahatchie River of Mississippi. Equate same-sex marriage with the nation's civil rights movement, if you will, then show me the hot shops of Bethlehem Steel and other industries where blacks were remanded to jobs and never promoted that were undesirable. Finally, show me your Selma, Alabama, where white men and women such as the Reverend James Lee and Viola Luiso gave their lives to help give the right to vote and pass the 1965 Voting Rights Bill. I am a black man, an African American. I cannot change my color, nor do I wish to do so. Those who are gay can disguise their propensity. Even in this legislature, 50, 100 years ago, gays and lesbians were here because they could disguise who they were. I was not here because I can never disguise who I am. Those who would just oppose the struggle that I've known, based solely, this struggle, I should say, based solely on advocacy and not on law and tradition and facts, are inherently and inveterately incorrect. For 20 years, I worked professionally with the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People. I worked with Senator Clarence Mitchell, Roy Wilkins, Ben Hooks, and they never said a word about same-sex marriage. So then, Mr. Chair, there are 10 reasons why this bill does not reach to the level that it proposes. It's not marriage. It violates natural law, always denies a child father, always denial a child either a father or mother, validates and promotes the homosexual lifestyle, turns a moral wrong into a civil right, does not create a family, but a naturally sterile union, defeats the state's purpose of benefiting marriage, imposes its acceptance on society, and it fails on its own merits. Education. Children will be taught that the homosexual lifestyle is on par with the heterosexual lifestyle. Those who will not agree will be summarily disciplined and punished for their beliefs. This should not be thrust upon our children. And this is at the very cutting edge of a sexual revolution. There is a story, as I conclude, about a fire. And there were children, too, in the home where the fire was. And it was so dangerous that no one dared go in. But this man, who was challenged by hearing, rushed in and rescued the children. And then later on, the children were up for adoption. And he said, I will adopt the children. Somebody said, you can't adopt the children, you're hard of hearing, you can't hear. What evidence, what proof can you show that you deserve to adopt these children? All he did was just hold up his hands, and they saw the burns, the blisters, the contortion that he had received rescuing these children. To those of you who will equate same-sex marriage with civil rights and the movement, show me your hands. Show me your hands. Let me see the scars that my race has known and my people has known. Finally, we must not abrogate, we must not dismiss our tradition. Our families, our churches are looking and listening, and we must not abrogate what we have been. To thine own self be true.